From our tours. Michael and company, thanks for the tours of the Cybersecurity Center of Excellence. Great job. We'll give you a round of applause for that. And we're glad that's on campus here. So I want to welcome everyone back. Thanks again, Michael. Certainly a valuable addition to our regional marketplace. This will serve as an important training tool for our students and talent base. But before we move on, I first want to thank Impact Networking for our lunch today. Impact Networking, thank you very much. I know Marcia and Kat are out here, so thanks again. Yep. And now I want to move on. Before I introduce our luncheon speaker, Byron Franz, I just want to mention that Amplify Oshkosh, as we mentioned earlier, it's a program of the Oshkosh Chamber, but it's a grassroots effort of business, education, various different organizations that are interested in promoting technology. And it's been going on for a better part of 7 years now. We've been at it. Javad's been one of our original members, and Jim Dubinsky's here, and there's others. We've got all sorts of, if you're a consortium member of Amplify, please raise your hand. Yep, so we've got a great group of folks that have been leading this consortium now for 7 years, and I think this is our 7th annual event. And one thing we developed a few years ago was an annual sponsorship program. I mean, we've been talking about the sponsors today of this event, which is kind of a separate gig, and we really appreciate all the support that the sponsors have provided, and we'll catch them at the end. But we also have an annual program. It's called Annual Engagement Program, and over the years, we have a number of annual sponsors that contribute funds to help support this effort. And I just want to mention them real quickly. We have Platinum Level, the Oshkosh Area School District, and SmartIS. We have Gold Level sponsors, Arctic Wolf, Bank First, Checkpoint, Fox Valley Technical College, Sadoff E-Recycling and Data Destruction, and Stellar Blue Technologies. And our silver sponsors are Change Management, Horicon Bank, and Whitley. So, and, you'll notice that a lot of those are some of the same sponsors that sponsor the event. Some aren't. But again, that's more of an annual basis. If you're interested in getting more involved with Amplify, whether it's through sponsorships or volunteering, being part of our events, please reach out to me at the Chamber, and we'd love to get you involved. So there's my spiel, Javad. I told you it would take a minute. So now we're going to move on, and I want to introduce our luncheon speaker, Byron Franz from the FBI. We had Byron virtually last year at this time. We had planned to be in person last year. It just didn't happen, and we promised we'd bring him back in person. So we're really happy he's here with us today. I will read his bio. He's a special agent of the FBI. He's worked national security matters for over 23 years. He currently serves on FBI Milwaukee's Cyber Squad, where one of his responsibilities is to raise awareness of cyber and insider threats to business, academia, and state and local governments. He's FBI certified to conduct cyber investigations and rated as proficient to work counterintelligence investigations by the U.S. intelligence community. He holds a BA in Russian and a law degree, both from UW. So with that, please help me welcome Byron Franz to the podium for our final presentation today.
Appreciate being here. I'm sorry I can barely get my head over the top of this podium like a little kid, at McDonald's, So I appreciate being here. I feel like I'm more like a window dressing feature because, the acronym of the FBI sounds all great, but it's the people in this room, IT security providers, system administrators, companies that provide wealth and employment here in Oshkosh, Appleton, and so forth. It's you people that are the bedrock of the United States. And I mean that wholeheartedly because, quite honestly, most of the United States has no idea that the bedrock of our democracy basically resides on the dairy state. And the example is, if you were to go out there and say, oh, Wisconsin, small population, what do you provide? Well, 50% of Americans probably have all their medical information on Epic system software, right? If a doctor walks in with a laptop or something like that, it's a brainchild of Judy Faulkner from Verona, Wisconsin. You got almost every major vehicle besides tanks and certain armored vehicles are from Oshkosh Corporation. Joint Light Tactical Vehicle, every single truck configuration, all from Oshkosh. Fincantieri, Marinette Marine, making the Littoral Combat Ship, and the new frigate, the Constellation class frigate. So you go down to Racine and stuff. You're getting S.C. Johnson, Ziploc, Windex, almost everything in household goods in your raid. All that's from Wisconsin as well. You got Northwestern Mutual Life. Fiserv is a bedrock of the financial system. People just don't realize it. Biggest life insurance provider, Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance. Wisconsin. And people ask, why are cyber actors coming here? Do I have to pound it out? Wisconsin is the bedrock of what the United States rests on. We are providing the services and the goods, and the people in this room are many of the defenders, the private defenders of IT firms that are coming out to remediate threats. And you are the ones who are saving democracy. It's not the FBI. We come in after the fact. But I want to tell you that we are there for you. Hopefully you're paying your tax dollars, and we're your beck and call. Not everything is an FBI case, but you can call www.ic3.gov. It used to be like it wasn't what we expected it to be. It used to be, what are you going to do, FBI? It wasn't a good response venue for the FBI. Now it is a fantastic one. When you send that complaint in, it gets triaged by a command post in D.C. and will be sent out to an FBI field office, to its cyber squad for evaluation. An agent will look at it. It may or may not be addressed, and most likely it will. We have cases basically open on every single ransomware variant out there, and they're pounding away at our infrastructure every day. What we can do is, we can't always remediate stuff, but we can help. Working in tandem with your legal and your IT teams, we can provide you the information that the FBI has, give it on the level, below the bar, maybe stuff we just give you one-to-one, that maybe help you either decrypt or remediate the situation. We can tell you how the threat actor has often acted in the past. We don't espouse you paying the ransom, but if you do, we can tell you, do they usually provide the decryption key? Do they supposedly wipe the information they might have exfiltrated from your servers? We can tell you how the threat actor has acted and let you decide for yourself. So there are things we can provide, and we hope that you provide us the information. We can track these bad people to their places. And why? Because it's just quoting the Terminator, the first movie with Michael Biehn. He absolutely will not stop ever until you are dead. That's the way. What motivation is a threat actor to stop? Glutted with cash? Does that happen? No. They always want more. So the fact is, we need your help. And why? The example I like to give is, imagine somebody wants to get at your prized possession. If your parents, someone's trying to get through your door and get your children. You, as a good parent, stop them at the threshold, slam the door, and have saved your family. Wow. You have done your responsibility, just like a CISO for a company or an IT person from a company. You protected your house, but are you a good neighbor? Did you notify anybody else of the attack that took place on your domain? If you're a company, does anybody else know? Did you provide anything to the FBI or law enforcement? They will not stop. They're going to hit. So rebuffed, that attacker can't get your kids, looks next door, there's 2 kids playing behind the house. But you didn't alert the neighborhood, did you? You're a good parent, but are you a good neighbor? And we want our companies to be a good neighbor. So we'll work in tandem with your IT and your legal teams to protect them. Because this is what's happening all the time. If I can get this to work. There we go.
We believe very strongly that it is a critical juncture. It's time for change.
"15 years of hard work from people that were trying to steal it and take it for free."
It was just a striking admission of all the things that he was up to.
Sometimes it may be an insider threat. We were able to stop in its tracks.
We started receiving targeted viruses.
This will knock you down. You've got to pick yourself back up.
Intellectual property. This is like 5 years ago. So I'm sure it's much vaster than now. Some estimates put it at $600 billion or plus getting taken from the United States. $600 billion plus taken from our coffers to give and better other coffers of other countries. Our net loss for their net gain. And it's often because of things that could be changed, negligence, lack of cooperation. And we have to work together because none of us can sit in our own little foxhole and protect ourselves. We have to work together. Public-private partnerships. Because it's just as bad as it is. It may seem like this. You probably all have a house like this, probably double this size, I don't know, with a camper like the big ones I always wish I had, the kind that look like a house parked next door. Well, that's what it looks like, but quite honestly, the fire is there. It is burning, and we don't see it. Problem is that many people think that true, there are physical threats. There are some students that can't even safely walk to school without have to worry about being physically attacked every day. But we are all of us under IT threat all the time. All of our devices, all of our implements, our endpoints, constantly under attack. And it's the people, the unsung heroes, the pen testers, IT professionals that are protecting against this threat. It may not seem so sexy. You don't see the physical flames, but they're there. The attacks are taking place all the time. It's deceiving because there are missiles taking virtual missiles every day, landing, there's a flash of light, and what happens? In the real world, still a bright, sunny, cold day here in Wisconsin, but there are flames, virtual flames, and companies throughout Wisconsin. They are burning, and it's IT professionals, like the people in this room, that are going to save them. We have to make a play for better resources and realize that MFA, multi-factor authentication, should be a standard in every business practice for every single credential, hopefully. The realization that we should be using things like a generalized email system with sandboxing, where attachments can be actually analyzed before they hit their recipients. That companies should implement something, virtual machine implementation at their desktops, so that if the surfing employee doesn't drop a shell onto the network and so on. A lot of these things should become standard over time, but they're not. And we have to raise our acumen and work together better to protect our businesses. Because no nation has friends, only their interests. As Charles de Gaulle said, realpolitik, business is war. And war is being perpetuated on the soft underbelly of our country because we still, at this juncture, do not appreciate the severity of the IT threat. That there are SCADA and ICS systems in our wastewater, water, electrical grids, and so on that have to be protected. And it takes a ransomware attack against a pipeline for us to realize it. But we also worry about state actors that may shut off the power, the vestige of what everything flows from. You know, your power goes out for a couple hours at night and you are destroyed. It happened to me twice last year for like 6 hours, and my God, my world ended. Imagine it ending for a day, 2 days, a week. So that's what we have to worry about. And who's doing it? Well, China, Russia, Iran, other state actors are out there. APT, Advanced Persistent Threat Groups. Russians, probably the best, most discreet actors out there. We've indicted a lot of state actors from Russia recently, but China's been out there too, employing things to get in against our businesses and so on. And we have to worry about insider threats, obviously. And we have to think, are you employing an SIEM tool, Security Information Event Management tools, and other things within the system that can track what's going on in the environment? DLP, data loss prevention software at a more higher end. I admit that small and mid-sized business can afford some of these things, but there are other workarounds, a lot of freeware that's available that can be utilized. I know some small colleges in Wisconsin that pretty much have their perimeter and the internal policed by freeware. That's pretty darn good. Obviously, you do get what you pay for. But insider threats, we have to worry about not only confidentiality agreements, but other technical means that we can track what an employee puts on a Dropbox, put on a thumb drive, and so on.
Hey, Ovi.
Hey, what's up?
What are you doing in the dark, man?
Nothing, just the late night filings.
Really? Late night filing? What are you, a Russian spy or something?
Yeah, right.
All right, I'll catch you later.
Yeah, see ya.
Пронесло.
Да, уж чуть не спалили.
It doesn't always look like that, but I had to put that in because my son's big into hockey, and I spend my day driving him to and from the rink all friggin' day long. But the fact is, we have to computer intrusion. This is what more outsiders coming in. We have to realize that, and we have to ask ourselves: is your IT fortress safe? And if a consultant says yes, it is, they're delusional. The fact is, no fortress, physical or IT-wise, is safe. But you want to get to a happy place. Realize that when lawsuits fly, it's the negligence standard. It's the reasonable duty of due care in negligence cases. Are you above the information security poverty line? A reasonable actor, not perfect, just reasonable. Are you protecting your company up to a reasonable level? And realize that the IT fortress is different than the physical fortress, as I like to say. When I went to UW-Madison, I lived with a bunch of civil engineers. These friggin' guys would probably tell you that the load-bearing bricks at the bottom of the fortress are more important than the rest because they distribute the weight and all that crap, right? But the fact is, in the IT fortress, these are all your users. And I can get anyone and probably escalate my level of privileged access through that one user. And that's what we see actors constantly doing, whether it's a business email compromise or a more systemic attack. But we're seeing an elevation of privileges. So every brick in the IT fortress is important. Not just the bottom. Granted, there are domain and system administrators who have what I call the God account, not to be profane, but they can part the cyber seas. But you want to avoid that. Are you ready for advanced threats? And as we talked about, these are APTs, advanced persistent threat. These are the people I usually work on all day long. So we're talking about state-supported actors. We have to realize they're out there. The example I like to give is the very first case that kind of got to the public consciousness, maybe it's left the public consciousness, is 2014, we indicted a group of Chinese military hackers that we say basically work in this building, and they work for a specific department. And who do they go after? This group called the Comment Crew. Westinghouse, Alcoa, U.S. Steel, U.S. Steelworkers Union, we allege, and ATI, Allegheny Technologies International. It's a long word. What does it mean? Well, I come from an area that means something to me because I grew up on what's called the south side of Milwaukee, not south. No one pronounces it that way. It's my Polish-German forebears. My grandmother always said, shut your mouth. She didn't say mouth. So the fact is, it says, on the south side of Milwaukee, we have a community called Cudahy. I grew up hating Cudahy because I'm the neighbor of South Milwaukee. We hated them. I don't know why. We just do. But the fact is that Cudahy has a bunch of great businesses, including one called Laddish. ATI Laddish, actually. The same company I said these guys attacked. Does that mean potentially Cudahy, Wisconsin, the crosshairs of a Chinese military? Yeah, it does. Because once again, we make the things that democracy flows upon. So they're coming here, and they usually get in.
So what were the first things you did?
Things.
How did you start hacking me?
I quickly found your Squarespace blog and had an idea. Basically what I did was created a bogus Squarespace site and sent an email to you, a fish asking you to go to this website, run this certificate installer.
And I did it, because I'm an idiot.
So once you ran that, it gave me access to your computer, and I created several fake pop-ups that looked like system pop-ups that would ask you for your credentials.
You didn't even have to have my passwords.
No, you gave them to me.
I gave them to you.
Yeah. So I stole your 1Password keychain.
And 1Password is where I store all my other passwords. So effectively by...
And your social security number and your Amex stuff and all your stock trading and bank information. I can send email to everyone in this room as you. I am you right now, if I wanted to be. If my evilness is working correctly, it should actually be taking pictures of your desktop and pictures through your webcam every 2 minutes. And I have been watching you for about 2 days now. In coffee shops, at your mom's house, on a plane. Here's your editing stuff. There's you like.
Oh my God, so this is literally
every 2 minutes.
Through my webcam.
Yeah, through this guy.
How badly could you have messed up my life?
I could have made you homeless. I could have made you homeless and penniless.
How?
Like,
How would you make me homeless?
Like, I have control of your digital life in its entirety. I have all your credentials. I have all your access to all your financial information, all your work information, all your personal information. I can pay people with your bank account or your Amex account. I am you. I can fully impersonate. Like, the only thing I couldn't doctor would be like your fingerprints.
This is like as bad as it gets.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, your digital life is your life. And take it from the guy because he's got the required ponytail, goatee, and probably a a laptop with a Punisher symbol on it or whatever. But the fact is, and he goes around with a backpack. But the fact is that's true. Your digital life is your life. Your credentials are the keys to the cyber soul, and you don't want someone to steal that soul, right? So we got to do better. You know, the standardization of MFA, multi-factor authentication, realizing that still phishing, which is mass distributed pain, usually, I mean, it can be a scheme, Amazon scheme, where someone's trying to come over and say, from Mumbai, saying, hey, you know, this is support from Google or whatever, and could you please allow me access, and will you install this on your computer so I can help you? You know, this kind of stuff. Phishing, preying on the elderly, usually. That's mass distributed. Spear phishing, that's where they're going right after Miller Electric or, you know, Oshkosh Corporation or somebody else locally here. That's they're going after, and they're using social engineering. They want to find, what will you digest? Specifically you. What will you digest? Saying, I'm an example of hockey again. It's hockey season right now. I can look up and I can just determine by a review of people, does this person who works at this defense contractor, are they a member of the parents of a hockey player? And then I look at your schedule, and then I can review stuff, and I can send you an email saying, hey, we need parents to sign up for the next game against Appleton or Fox Valley coming up. Chances are, since I send it from something that's configured to look like somebody you understand and know, will you open the attachment I sent you? That's what's done. It's so simple. All we have to do is take advantage of those things. And so realize that's out there. Whether it's, you know, a browser compromise where you drop a web shell or some other interactive exploit on your system, they're out there. And it used to be that a minute and 22 seconds from the first launch of a comprehensive spearfish attack, we get one problem person to click. That's gone up since I did this. That's because we've been working together better. This has gotten out. People are raising their awareness, but it's not where it needs to be, obviously. People are still falling for these things. They're still dropping things onto their system. And this goes from any type of ransomware. And ransomware actors now are acting like nation states. They are usually in the environment for an extended period of time. They've enumerated everything, and they take it down on Saturday, usually. And then I get a freaking call saying, I'm not in the office, you know, is someone gonna die? I'm not running into it, but we will respond to these things. The fact is that they are acting like nation-state actors, and we have to treat them with the gravitas that it deserves. Ransomware is this huge problem, but we can mitigate it. I mean, you have to consider, should you have cyber insurance? Cyber insurance insists you implement various things. I'm not making a play for a specific product or service, but asking that people consider it, because in my view, they often, cyber insurance providers already have an IT forensics firm on standby and a legal firm that deals with this all the time. Not just, I was an attorney, I never grew up knowing anything about IT defense and who do I have to notify when there's a breach and all the rules on that. The fact is, these people do. So you want to consider that. And if nothing else, go out for pen testers, the unsung heroes of the cyber wars, the people that actually, for consent, will breach you the first time. I have never seen a pen test fail the first time. I challenge anybody that has ever seen this happen. They will find an unguarded door, they will find an unguarded cyber window, and they will climb in. So the fact is, the question is in the second pen test, have you remediated it? Remember, these are business people. It's not worth them to keep pounding away from you unless they are a state actor and they've ordered to get XYZ product. If they're criminal actors, they're like, hey, this lady's too well defended, I'm moving on. You want them to move on. And see, we have to teach our employees not to enable macros, to examine simple things like the extended header as a configuration of their email, to actually examine how their email on Outlook is configured, because the actor in a business email compromise usually reconfigures the rules on the email, and they're sending stuff somewhere else to a different box that you didn't, if you look at what the heck is this going to? I never put this in here. But they're reading your stuff so they can become you virtually and send a wire transfer order because they now know how you do it. So if we looked at this, we'd cut them off at the knees. And then we have the attacks on our browsers, obviously, like I was talking about. Drive-wide downloads, malvertising, watering hole attacks. The more sinister ones are watering hole attacks, where someone isolates and attacks a specific website, you know, whether it's using whatever the configuration is of the website, getting in and dropping something on it. And so when someone visits it, they get attacked. And there's various ways that this takes place, but we see this all the time. Watering hole attacks is where I would attack, in this thing, I would attack the Chamber of Commerce. I get all the people going from lots of different victims to one site. They're going to the watering hole to drink. The same thing can be said for defense firms or so on. I always say if I want to attack the Wisconsin National Guard, I never butt heads directly. They're really great. They have really good IT people. But they may belong to a Veterans of Foreign Wars post, Legion post, something. Do those have websites? Yeah, pretty much rudimentary ones too. Not policed much or updated much, misconfigured often. And they get in that way. So I attack that and hope that an active duty person clicks on that site and I can attack them that way. We have to realize that this is the way that they prey upon us all the time. Thinking around what we're doing, not butting heads straight on.
So, walk me through it, step by step.
Well, I took over the website to a bowling alley.
Brian, this is not a joke.
That doesn't sound like a direct attack.
They have this research facility down the peninsula, and they're working on optical tracking cameras for driverless cars. So just searching through social media, I get the names of a whole bunch of engineers who are working there. And as I'm looking them up, I come across this bowling league where a bunch of tech companies play every Wednesday. And this is an old school bowling alley with this really ancient website. And it has all the league info, company names, player names.
Okay, so you hacked into a bowling alley website.
Yeah.
All right, explain how that works.
It's called an iframe injection attack. It's this old exploit that hits anyone that visits the website. So a week later, this guy from Opticon suddenly has my malware on his laptop. Couldn't believe it worked. It was like a joke.
What does that get you?
Well, the next day he goes to work and he opens his laptop and he connects to the network. And that's it. I'm in.
Yeah, but that still doesn't get you inside. I mean, they discovered it. They wiped the laptop, scanned the network.
No, they didn't scan the whole network. The thermostat's part of the network. It's inside the firewall. It's connected to Opticon's entire network. You can get the whole standard configuration and password online in 30 seconds. I got it off the manufacturer's website. So they scanned most of the network. They didn't scan the thermostat.
Then what?
Then I just went exploring. It was a totally flat network, no subnets or anything. I could see everything, HR files, legal documents, R&D. When I found the blueprints, I realized I could make some money off these files.
What happened after you sent the files?
Oh, then I burned everything down. I wiped everything I could find, encrypted drives and deleted backups.
Is the network down? Can't get change servers with the database. Servers look corrupt. We're going to have to do a full restore from the backups. No, the backups are encrypted. This is deliberate. This is a major breach. Malware. We got to call the FBI.
Consider doing that. I have to quickly roll up. This is built for a little bit longer presentation, so I'm going to ramble through this real quick. But the fact is, there are multiple things that are taking place, multiple means in through multiple windows. And then one of the biggest things we see is misconfigurations and 365 and so on. And you're seeing people scanning for and taking advantage of unsecured RDP, especially in a COVID era. RDP is the big N for ransomware. Almost every attacker is using this. And the fact is they're not locking that down. So we have to proceed with the philosophy of assumed compromise. It's not if, it's when. It will happen. The question is what efforts you take now to protect yourself with preventative tools, preventative training to your employees, and partnerships, public and private, will mitigate how big that fire is that I showed you in that first slide. Will it be a small smolder? Will it burn you to death? So the fact is they're out there. Maintaining adequate logs. Without that, you don't know what they did in your network. You don't know what you have to report. And we can't use it to track them through cyberspace. So having those logs and making sure they're not going to be configured. A lot of Linux attacks, they're able to get in there and mess with the logs. So hopefully have it in a way that can't be immediately attacked. And utilizing the pen testers all the time. I have to go through here. Develop an intrusion response plan. What will you do? Are we on there? Do you have people in law enforcement? Do you have IT providers, hopefully on retainer for forensics and so on? Training employees, red teaming. Utilizing complex passwords. I mean, if you can't remember them, you can use apps like LastPass and so on, but you're putting your eggs in someone else's basket. There's a lot of trust involved with that. So they haven't been really hit that hard, but eventually, I assume something like that may happen. So you have to consider that. And an 8-character password, destroyed in a second. You can wipe that. 16 characters or above, definitely. And the problem is that when we give passwords, IT people give an employee a password, that is the best password they'll ever have. Problem is they can't remember it. So they change it to a way like Packers, Aaron Rodgers sucks, or something like that. He doesn't, by the way. But something like that on there. But Wisconsin, Go Badgers, something that's in this area, your pet's names or something. Now you've made it so that a dictionary attack or something regional can work. So the fact is that's right there. So employ defense in depth, not just one tool. And we have to realize setting things that there are segmentation, obviously, in the network. And closing all ports that are not needed for your business model. That's a big thing, but you need it. Usually not the startup with 4 employees is going to know how to do that. You need an IT professional to do that. And again, mitigate the risk of wireless keyboards and mice. There are no wireless implements in FBI space for just that reason. Not all of them are created equal. And again, at the end of the day, the key to the cyber soul is protecting those passwords, those credentials, because there are things they can do once they're in environment using tools like Mimikatz and others to get those credentials. And they're out there, so protect them.
We need to do a better job of protecting ourselves. You know, the most popular password in the United States is password 123. And as long as that's the case, we're vulnerable. So today we sent a camera out on the Hollywood Boulevard to help people by asking them to tell us their password. And this is how that went.
We're talking about cybersecurity today and how safe people's passwords are. What is one of your online passwords currently?
It is my dog's name and the year I graduated from high school.
Oh, what kind of dog do you have?
I have a Chihuahua Papillon.
And what's its name?
Jameson.
Jameson. And where did you go to school?
I went to school back in Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
What school?
Hempfield Area Senior High School.
Oh, when did you graduate?
In 2009.
Oh, great.
It's like my cat's name and then just like a random number.
Okay. As if you had this cat for a while?
Yeah, she's my childhood pet.
Aw. And what's her name?
Her name is Jolie.
Jolie.
Mm-hmm.
So like a password of yours would be Jolie and then a number.
Yeah.
Like number 1?
Like my birthday.
Oh, when is your birthday?
June 12th.
Oh, nice. And what year were you born?
95.
Oh, great.
Mm-hmm.
So Jolie, 6/12/95.
Yes.
Got it.
So you mean to give my password right now? No, I cannot do that.
But we all want to know what it is so we can tell you if it's strong or not.
Oh my goodness. Let me think. Okay, one is Tel Aviv. Yeah. 468, and then Israel. It's only 3, but it's for me it's strong enough.
Ireland 1-2-3-4.
Gemma 1-2-3. Spelled Gemma.
Well, most of them are Italian.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
so
what? Like what's a good Italian password?
My grandma's name.
What's your grandma's name?
Maria.
Maria. So Maria is your password?
Oh yeah, now you know my password.
Yeah, forget about it, I mean, it could have been Olivia or something else, not too hard to guess, right? So, Victoria. But the fact is, this is key to the cyber soul. We have to protect our souls, once again, our virtual souls. And I talk about attacking regionally thing, and I mentioned the Packers. Probably the thing that stands out of all the presentations I've done, I got asked to present to the team once, in the team room. So it was like, growing up here, it was like I walked into the heavenly gates. I was given a tour of the locker room, walked through all the area, and then I got in front of the team, and Jordy Nelson asked me questions and stuff like that, and those guys tore me up. They asked a whole bunch of questions about apps I've never heard of, and the moment I said I don't know, one of the players said, FBI, I don't know. And then from that on, they were just like abusing me the rest of the time. But it was a highlight of my cyber career, getting to talk to the team I love so much. So that being said, all you important, Oshkosh's important, all that stuff, but I got to talk to the Packers once. So the fact is, this is me. I'm at your beck and call. I'm a public servant. You pay for these services. Your FBI Milwaukee division is there for you. I encourage you to reach out to us if you have an incident through www.ic3.gov or calling us or partner with us through our InfraGuard program, of which I'm the coordinator, and when you send it in, I have to actually click on it and stuff. So I'd love to have you as my partner. That's me. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Yo, Oshkosh, Amplify. What do you want me to say? Oh, okay. What do you want? What do you want from me? No comment. Yeah, you. So what? No. Well, if it's an imminent threat, it's immediate. We have to resolve the thing. If it's a threat to life thing, we have to resolve that instantly. It's watched 24 hours. We have to have a complete and total, utter response to that. If it's a cyber incident like ransomware, they're saying people aren't going to die, although you might feel like it. The fact is, it'll be sent hopefully the next day. It will not be instantaneous. It'll be probably a couple days before you get a response back from the FBI. That's why it's important to rely on your state and local law enforcement, DCI, which is an element of the State Department of Justice. They have cyber investigators, or your IT. The best saviors are going to be your private providers when it comes to that. You know, is it a law enforcement issue? Arguably, yes. But when we get a hold of it, our standard FBI Milwaukee is to immediately try to look through our systems and provide your people or you anything we can provide you to help you counteract or mitigate the threat. The information that we're custodians of, we have to provide. So we'll try to give it, but it won't be complete. We don't actually physically go on site, except in rare instances. So that does happen, but in the majority it doesn't. We try to work with you and connect you. I actually usually have the IT person remediating or handling your threat. I will connect them directly on the phone with the FBI person in the United States who works that ransomware. And I do this on multiple occasions, and I'll be called like Newark or New York or LA, and this agent will go like, yeah, I'll talk to him. I'll tell him what we got. I'll work with them. I'll get on there with all their CISO and everybody else. They do that all the time. Is it in the long term? It's a law enforcement issue. We're trying to go after them, but we will provide you what we can in the quick run. You may not always be happy. Sometimes we have limited stuff. It's a new ransomware. We just don't have anything. So we'll try to do what we can. That's how FBI Milwaukee operates. Yes.
So when Microsoft's help desk calls you at home, or Amazon's customer service area calls you at home,
It's all bullshit.
I know that. But not everybody does. So aside from, educating our employees to just, keep them on the line as long as you can so they don't, have as much time to hack other people, what else can we be sharing with our employees to do?
What?
Because, they might be then going onto their work laptop because they're doing a lot of their personal stuff, especially this time of year with Amazon, and Amazon's starting to make the rounds again. How do we help them protect themselves while also protecting our corporate?
Well, I would always say that I don't encourage people to continue the conversation with people like that. I don't think anything can be added. Some people call us and go, I got this guy in a hook. You ready to drop you're gonna do something with this? We're gonna generate this thing. We're gonna get this guy. And they call me up and I'm going, no, we're not gonna do that. The guy's calling from someplace outside of our jurisdiction. We're not gonna be just parachuting into Mumbai or Moscow to get him. So is notify. Hopefully the problem is with smaller firms, at least you all know each other. One of the problems with small firms is shared passwords amongst everyone, and everyone has administrative rights. Big killer of small companies. But the fact is education and making sure if it's a large enough company that there's an email or something that everyone can route just to that person. Like we have a special thing, if I get something suspicious, I have to report it immediately. And because we have fish testing constantly, I immediately get something back saying, congratulations, You're not one of the people who screwed up today. You actually reported this. And so there's feedback, and some companies I've talked to recently, they actually have remediation, they have annual training and so on, and they have a 3 strikes you're out policy for those phishing emails. If you fail, there's graduated levels of extra training and stuff, and finally, the boot. So some companies just can't afford that luxury. So, I mean, I don't know, it's just making sure that there's a way to report these things, that there's annual training, that you have outside consultants or internal people that give this training. I often say it's unfortunate that people don't listen to their own IT folks because they see them all the time. Our head of security in our office, we know him, we see him all the time, and annually he's got to go tell us to watch out for being compromised and stuff. And everyone's like, yeah, right, I see you in the hall and talk to you. And suddenly you bring an outside consultant, and they're like, whoa, this person must know what they're talking about. Wait, they were saying the same thing. Yeah, but they're an outside consultant, and you paid extra money. They must know a lot. No, it doesn't, but that's the problem. That's the way of things. We just don't listen to our own people. Anybody else? All right. And I can't accept anything. So if you're going to gift me with some wonderful Oshkosh Amplify t-shirt, I can't. I love it. I love the logo, but I can't take it. I couldn't take anything from the Packers either. Damn it. Well, I went to Miller Brewing. They gave me this big basket full of booze. I'm like, yeah, it looked real good. Me walking back to my FBI car with that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, wow, what a day. I don't know about all of you, but I learned a ton today myself, that's for sure. I want to thank all of our wonderful presenters, including Byron here, and Brett Scott for traveling. I know Brett's in here yet, but all the way from Gilbert, Arizona to beautiful, sunny Wisconsin in November. I do want to thank our title sponsor, Stellar Blue Technologies, been with us forever, and all of our sponsors. I want to read them off real quickly. Keynote sponsor, SmartIS. Our host sponsor, the UW-Oshkosh Cybersecurity Center of Excellence. Platinum sponsors 4imprint for those t-shirts. If you did not get a t-shirt yet, make sure on your way out, get one of those awesome t-shirts courtesy of 4imprint. The Venture Project, they're doing all the video for us today. Watch for all that. I want to thank them for that. And the Oshkosh Chamber, our panel sponsors, Arctic Wolf, Checkpoint, Heartland, Sadoff, and Whipley. Breakfast sponsor was Fox Valley Tech. Our networking break sponsors were Bank First and Lincoln Labs. Luncheon sponsor, Impact Networking. And our bronze sponsors, Amada Marvel, Image 360, Best Western, and New North. Media sponsors were Insight Magazine and the Oshkosh Herald. And again, a special thank you to SmartIS for doing all the digital marketing for us for this conference. So that was great. And I want to thank our planning team members. I want to read them off. Javad Ahmad, Brian Foote, Joe Gerard, David Gunlock, Kim Iverson, Caitlin McWilliams, Bobby Miller, Tina Schulke, Brooke Sumner, Matt Wolfgram, and Michael Patton. So thanks to the committee for all your time and effort. So I just want to challenge everyone in the room to take what you learned today, apply it today, tomorrow, every day moving forward. We need to keep having these conversations, and we had some great ones today, that's for sure, on cybersecurity and technology in general. That's what we're all about. We need to keep improving our communities, our organizations, to keep moving forward. So today was a great day. We hope you learned something that can help you thrive in stormy waters. So just feel free to reach out to me at the Chamber anytime, Rob Clayman, and if you want to get more involved in Amplify, we'd love to have you involved. As an FYI, please watch our website for upcoming events. We do have a member mixer scheduled for Thursday night, December 9th. It's a no presentation event. It's just networking and drinks and hors d'oeuvres. We're going to be at the Mine Shaft on December 9th. We've got one of those rooms off the game, by the game room, so it should be a fun night. So I hope you can join us there. And also watch for future events after the first of the year again that we will be having. So thanks again for attending our event today, and have a happy holiday season.